I didn't, I've never seen a blue water bottle. Oh, and mom asked me that, oh, I think it's.
I remember seeing it more, I remember.
But it's gonna come.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you left it, I don't.
But that was. I remember seeing that.
Well, I don't remember too.
Yes.
I will.
Especially.
Yeah. Oh, well, this treatment.
So what is it? That is just over this way. Sign up for tonight. Sign up for tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Here.
Thanks.
I signed up. Oh, you did? Actually, Bill signed it. Gotcha. Do you not believe it? Oh.
One of the actions, applicants, we start. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's very.
Read reporters at a radio. Four news, three newspapers.
Solution, do you provide a report?
Okay, folks, it's time, so I can call to order the April 8th meeting of the Woodstock Town Board.
Just say yes, dear.
And first I have a quick announcement about Wittenberg Road. So the county called us the other day and didn't give us a lot of notice, but informed us that they will be closing the road on April 29th. And I do believe there's already a sign up there.
There is.
They are replacing the culvert on just past the second turn, just a little down or up from west on Hale Mountain Road. They anticipate the task will take 4 to 6 weeks. We have been trying to get them to do something to provide at least one way or emergency access. You know, they thought, oh, you got a firehouse on each end of it. So that's true. We have one in the flats and we have one out in Wittenberg. Part of the problem is that 3 of the most active Wittenberg firefighters live on the other side of this side of the bridge. So we will continue to try and press them. It is a tough spot for them to do anything temporarily, but we will continue to try and get them to acquiesce a little bit. And Bennett, you had a quick comment about.
Sure, I just wanted to let everybody know that the website survey would be going live this evening, and I will give that to the town clerk so that she can have copies of it. It will also be an online survey, and I will give that to the supervisor so that he can put that link on the website and on Facebook. And also, if you would like to send that link around to friends or neighbors, you can do that as well. So we want to get as many people in the next 4 weeks to take the survey about what features they like, what features they would like to see better. And then we will move from there to discuss the findings of the survey. And from there, then begin to find vendors who can stand up a really great website for the town. So the survey's out today. So look for it and please, it's about a 5-minute survey, so won't take much time. Thank you.
Okay, and one other quick reminder, at our next meeting on the 22nd, we're gonna be reopening the hearing on our zoning amendments. And specifically, we're gonna be talking about chapter 202, the subdivision section. So please come prepared with questions about that section of the amendments and.
Well, and I do have a clarification on that. So when you do look in the town website to go find the changes, and you go into the very last topic on the left, navigator zoning updates, there are going to be 2 things that say, there's a copy that I think from, was it March, I think, and then one from November. Anyway, there's 2 different dates where there are the amendments or the changes are in there. And what they did with the November copy is they accepted all of the things from the previous copy. So if you only look in the November copy, you will only see marked what's changed since the earlier copy. To really see all the changes from the current law, you're going to want to look at both documents, both the one that's from, it's either March or April, and the document from November, so that you can see all the markups in both, because the markups from the earlier copy, again, did not get carried over into the later one because they got adopted, so they're not marked up anymore. So you want to look at 2 levels of the document.
Phil, a question about that? The zoning, is it true that basically you're done with the document now? And this public hearing will be just.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get some clarification.
I'm getting,
You know,
go ahead.
are you still taking input on this document? Are making changes? Is it gonna go back to some committees? Are various groups gonna get to work on it further? How's it gonna work?
We have to figure that.
We'll see what input we get. I mean, if the public all comes out and says, you know what, we've read it and think it's wonderful, pass it. We'll pass it. If people come and have constructive comments about, specific parts of the law or the amendments, absolutely. That's what the public hearing is for.
Yeah.
To get input.
So the document, as Bill says, it is not considered frozen. It is clearly not considered frozen. The public hearing, and there'll be a series of public hearings, 4 public hearings, perhaps 5. 1 for chapter 202 and 3 or 4 for the chapter 260, which is the larger zoning chapter. So the idea is hear what everybody has to say and make changes as appropriate. It may be, I mean, I'm like the common thread. I'm the chair of the zoning revision committee. I was on the housing oversight task force. It may be me that makes changes that the board agrees need to be changed. Right now, there is not a separate group assigned to take any changes and assess them, because the law is with the board, town board right now. Depending on the feedback that comes back, the board could decide to create a subgroup, but at the moment, there is no subgroup that will automatically get it. It's with the board, but it's not a frozen document. It can be changed based on public input.
Okay, with that, be it resolved to set the public hearing of Woodstock Town Code, chapter 21 trees for May 13th, 2023, 7:15 p.m. at the town offices, 45 Como Drive, Woodstock, New York, and be it further resolved to authorize the town clerk to advertise said public hearing in official town newspaper. Be it further resolved, the town board declares its intent to be lead agency regarding seeker, and be it further resolved, the town board directs the supervisor to prepare seeker documents.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Liaison to the tree committee right now.
I believe it's Betty.
Did you get my vote?
Maria Lena said aye.
Aye, okay.
Yeah, well, my question is, because I'm not the liaison, did you want to take a second for that?
No, that's fine. I'm glad that you're supportive of moving forward with the new tree law.
Yes, I am, and I just didn't want to steal, I would give it to you if you want.
Anula, did you, I didn't.
Aye.
Alright, okay, so that's 5-0. Be it resolved to forward zoning amendments regarding fences to the Woodstock Planning Board and the Ulster County Planning Board, and be it further resolved, The Woodstock Town Board declares its intent to be lead agency regarding seeker, and be it further resolved, the town board directs the supervisor to prepare seeker documents.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, be it resolved to accept the resignation of Michael Whitaker as full-time laborer effective March 17th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to accept the resignation of Jeremiah Tart as recreation aide effective March 22nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to hire Ethan Jobson as part-time recreation aide at an hourly rate of $20.31 effective April 8th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Larry Allen continues to maintain and improve his training with regard to water and wastewater treatment system operations, and be it resolved to promote Larry Allen to a grade 8 water wastewater operator at an hourly rate of $42.17.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public be heard. Vince Mao.
That was quick. I guess, at this point, everybody knows that in addition to the PFOA has appeared in the town water, so. To you, the Woodstock Town Board and those of you with us tonight. I'm here this evening to plead once again for long overdue action on the environmental hazards that are. At this moment, threatening the health and well-being of our entire community and its visitors. The assault on the heretofore pristine integrity of one of the town's greatest assets, the aquifer that supplies our public wells, should be intolerable to anyone that cares about this community. While we cannot presently declare with certainty that the roughly 200 truckloads of Corollas's contaminated construction debris sitting at the top of our aquifer in Shady is the culprit for our present water problems, that stuff sure doesn't belong there. But it cannot be denied that this assault that began in 2019 with dumping on Church Road may in fact be the cause of both the PFOS and now with the latest test results of our wells, PFOA, appearing in measurable quantities in the Woodstock public water supply, and still nobody's doing anything about it. Promises made by the supervisor years ago to completely remove the fill, and still nothing but a sham permit and moving material around on the same property. That's all that's happened. After, at the very least, since we know these contaminated wells have appeared at Pump House 2 for the last 3 years. And we've never had a hit. I mean, have appeared in Pump House 1 for the last 3 years. We've never had a hit on Pump House 2. There's never been any sign of PFAS. I don't understand why we don't turn off Pump House 1 completely and fill the storage tanks from Pump House 2. We've never had detection there. Everybody in town is drinking PFOA and PFOS right now in their water. So in the meantime, just stop pretending this is okay. The town website should have an advisory that both PFOA and PFOS are now present in our morning coffee. Okay, not just saying, go look at the water department site and see if you can find the results and figure out what they mean. That's not helpful. You know, while the state waits to implement the new 4 parts per trillion advisory level for PFAS and PFOA, don't rely on the old 10 parts per trillion to drag your heels. You don't have to do that. Do what's right. And if you can't do that, I don't understand how 3 of the people on this board can pretend they're acting in the public interest.
Dr. Brooks?
And you still signed up for public to be heard?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Brooks. I'm speaking on behalf of the Woodstock Housing Committee. During the last town board meeting on March 18, the Housing Committee presented the findings that an engineering firm called Fisher Associates came up with regarding the feasibility of building affordable housing on town-owned land. Stage 1 of this process was recently completed. Fisher's report provided preliminary evaluation of 5 town-owned parcels so that we can choose 3 for a more detailed study. We heard a lot of constructive feedback from the town board and residents, both during and after that meeting, and we thank you for that. So following additional consultation with Fisher Associates, we have decided to pursue further study of the following 3 parcels. Number 1 is the Mountain View parking lot. 2 is the Xena Highwoods Road lot, and the 3rd is the Xena lot close to 28 called 3 Mile Class LT 21. So in the coming months, Fisher Associates will be doing a deep dive into those 3 parcels, providing us with detailed information that will be crucial to understanding the trade-offs associated with building housing on each of those parcels, as well as information about the type and amount of housing that could even be built in each location. In addition, we hope that during the coming months, the town will conduct a careful study of parking and traffic, 2 issues that the town really needs to address regardless of whether housing is ultimately built in the Mountain View parking lot. And we as a housing committee are ready to partner in such a study. We hope that concerned members of the community can be patient and will keep an open mind about the various housing options. The next step, which we are taking now, is to obtain information about the limits and possibilities of the 3 parcels, as well as about parking and traffic issues. With this information, we can have important conversations in the community that are crucial to making the decisions about what options could best serve the entire community. We anticipate these conversations will occur sometime during the summer, and we will keep everyone posted via our newsletter, social media accounts, town website, and our committee meetings. I also have handouts if anyone wants to stay engaged. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for all the hard work. Danny.
Hi.
Hello.
So, the couple of issues. Still, I think that you should have somebody to film channel 23, because I don't understand anything here.
Okay.
You know, that's what comes on YouTube.
YouTube, yes.
Yeah, and you see, they don't see me talking. I don't, yeah, but you know, all the way there, you know, it's like, you know, I think it's, you know, when you have the when we had before, then you had, you know, it was much more, when people were talking, then people could see their faces, their expression, everything. I think you should again hire somebody to film it and put it on, and people watch it on channel 23. You know, this is very complicated for a lot of people. You know, for some
Yes.
people, they are good, for the others, no. The other thing is like, you know, you are hiring people, and you would hire people for the TV station too. I would appreciate
Now
that.
you're on.
I'm sorry,
Now you're on, you see?
where?
We see your back. The camera.
Back of your
so-
head, yeah.
There,
Come
where I-
stand here with your face facing the audience.
Turn around.
Oh, I have.
There's-
There you go.
So you can't see yourself, but we can see you.
Okay. But I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to them.
Yeah. Well, stand sideways, I can see your profile.
So I would, you know, I would appreciate that you would hire somebody for the TV station, like you hire people for here. You know, I have been asking that for a long, long time, me and Ellen, that, you know, I wish to really do that. And I think that's it.
Okay,
You know,
thank you, Fanny.
thank you.
Stephanie? Do you want me to keep the camera on you too?
I don't care. Yeah, I just want to be heard, hear about it, everybody sees me.
Stephanie, can you come over here?
Oh, you want it, all right, you want to hear what you're thinking today? Okay.
Thank
You
you.
ready? All right. So I want to talk about the water, and I also want to talk about Sinagra, so we got a lot to talk about. First of all, we know that our water is now the highest level of toxic poison that we have had thus far. And again, it's in Pump House 1 and Wells 1 and 2. And in addition to PFOS, we now have PFOA, which are the 2 worst of the thousands of PFAS chemicals. So the first thing, Anula, I'd actually like to address you. I see you're on Zoom tonight. I've heard you say words to the effect, I'm not quoting, but words to the effect of You know, it's like having a drop of water in a swimming pool. And I would ask you to reconsider that because those words are obviously said in an attempt to minimize or diminish the seriousness of the situation. But I remind you, and I remind everybody, that these things are measured almost like on the nanomolecular level. They are measured in parts per trillion, not million, not billion, but parts per trillion. And it is the parts per trillion that are causing, thyroid disorders and developmental deficiencies in fetuses and fertility problems and breast cancer, testicular cancer, ovarian cancer, liver problems, kidney problems, a whole realm of incredibly serious and life-threatening diseases. And it's these nano percentages of these toxic poisons that are causing that. So we really need to be concerned about an ever-rising trend. And in any kind of minimization of that or dismissal of what we have going on in this town, I think is completely unacceptable. Secondly, I wanna also say a little bit about what Vince said. This is all coming from Pump House One. Is there any reason we can't switch our water immediately over to be sourced by Pump House Two, which thus far has had non-detects on these toxic chemicals, which to my understanding means it's under 2 parts per trillion. So it could be 0 or up to 2 parts per trillion. That doesn't mean it's not there, but it's a lesser, much lesser level. Why don't we switch over immediately? Lastly, about the Sinagra issue, I don't know what happened to the hearing that hasn't been disclosed yet. You might know, but whether he wins or losing the disciplinary hearing, or whether he wins or loses the civil suit that is now brought against you in the town for failure to give him procedural due process, and I'm not commenting on whether that happened or not, it's just the civil suit against us. He has to go, and so does Chief Keefe. Okay, everyone knows what they did. They know the environment that they created for the other police officer there. They know the kind of environment that was engendered. It's a racial and gender discriminatory environment. It's unacceptable behavior, and I am not the only person in this town who doesn't trust those 2 officers. I'm not the only person in this town who thinks that those 2 officers are acting in a unlawful manner. And these kinds of things, lack of trust, fear of these officers because of the kind of moral behavior or immoral behavior that they exhibit, that makes them unqualified to be officers in our community, for ourselves and for the other officers. Please get rid of them.
John?
Thank you. There's a proposal on the table to spend between $6 and $11 million on the youth center in Andy Lee Field. And I believe it's the biggest capital project ever in Woodstock. I'm not sure what that probably is. And any member of the public could be excused for not really knowing what the town board members are thinking about it, because to my knowledge, there hasn't been any discussion here at the board. It's been presented a number of times. I ask you, please, next week, could you put some time on the agenda, maybe a half hour, where you could actually have a board discussion and we could learn what the town board members are feeling about this proposal. Henry Ford famously said in his biography, any customer can have a car painted any color that he wants, so long as it is black. And that was fine for Henry Ford. He was an entrepreneur, he was very successful, and he offered black cars, and that was the choice people had, and they bought them. Now, the task force, the Andy Lee, the youth center task force, is proposing 2 choices. We heard about that in March. Choice 1A is the youth center on Andy Lee Field, and choice B is the youth center on Andy Lee Field, plus some other things. If we vote no to that, we have another choice, no, and if we vote no to that, we're essentially voting against the youth center, and I think people don't want to do that. Most people want to support the youth center. We'd like to see a new youth center. And so when you say, some of you say, let the people decide, you have to give them some choices, I think. Right now, you're offering them black or black. So you need to offer something, perhaps a more modest proposal, but a generous proposal, maybe something like $3 to $4 million to build a new youth center on its current site. So I ask you please to have some discussion and
try to come up with a new proposal before we get to referendum, because if you go to referendum with black or black, I don't think it's the right thing to present to people.
I don't think black
Thank
or
you.
black gets to a referendum. Rachel,
Okay, I have a lot of things to say, just because I listen to all of you. And I often have a lot of.
talk fast, 3 minutes.
Okay, so, first thing, the youth center, the kids are still waiting, it's been 2 years. Just like housing, like, it's like taking a really long time, we kind of gotta, the kids are waiting, they need to be prioritized. John's kind of right, this is a little excessive. Also, I heard something about some new environmental task force or some star task force, who's putting on that thing? Maybe after I talk, you can answer, who's putting on this?
PWSP too.
I don't know, there's like some new group, what happened to the Woodstock Environmental Commission? Where'd that go? I know that a lot of people had stepped away because it gets acrimonious in
I
there.
believe you have 2 individuals who are interested.
Okay, well, one of the people we gotta talk, figure out what's going on with this environmental commission situation. I heard that Ken Panza's getting blamed for us not having a star rating, and I would not blame Ken Panza for fucking up anything. Okay, the other thing was the water, like, really, why haven't we actually moved to the other tank? If we know there's stuff in there, and we know that, you know, you can drink, a lot of these people are drinking water, you're using fabric softeners, I see some of you are wearing plastic clothing. I see that you have, you know, you're wearing nylon, those things are actually giving you PFAS just by breathing them, okay, just saying that. So we need to figure it out, and I'm gonna speak to all of you who are here. I offered my help to you 2 years ago, and I wasn't allowed in any of your secret meetings. Now he's mad, foiling like a crazy man. When are we gonna do what we're actually need to do? Thank you, Nuala, for calling the AG. I hope that we can actually come together. Some of us have been willing to do, but we don't wanna touch this story because you guys are like a snake pit. Okay, the other thing is regarding the police, we know it's kind of Clayton's time, we all know it's Clayton's time, but. I grew up in this town and I know what remember when our police were constables, they're still doing the same thing, walking by, checking the doors. If we lose Clayton and everybody just says, get rid of Clayton, because whether we know it or not, how are we going to handle the police force? Because I see the state police rolling through here all the time, sitting here and pulling people over. So be careful what you wish for when you just ask for Clayton to just be yanked. We gotta be very meticulous about how we handle this. I'm not sure that the current administration is ready for that. So, and the other thing is, yeah, those are the things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rachel, you just have to hire somebody to become the police chief as well.
Obviously, we do.
Okay, hold on,
We have to
you
build
gotta
that.
take it
Do I have
outside.
any more time? We have to think about
Out-
police
out.
chief tenure. We have to think about
Rachel,
the town
thank
choosing the police. Not
Okay,
just the
so we'll
supervisor.
move to adjourn.
Very-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks.